Good morning, garden family. Welcome to Fountain Hills Community Garden Healing Food Series. My name is Debbie Romano, and I am founder of Fountain Hills Healthy Heartbeats. I'm a nutrition and wellness consultant here in Fountain Hills that specializes in plant-based nutrition. Why plants? Most of us here in the garden love our plants. We grow fresh plants in our garden beds, and we eat the fresh fruits and vegetables. Plants are antioxidants and healing properties that protect us from toxins and free radicals that we get, either from outside sources or from not so healthy choices we eat in our diet. Plants are a vital powerhouse, just a powerhouse of vitamins, minerals, nutrients, phytochemicals. Phyto means plant. Okay, so when I talk about phytochemicals, they're the active compounds in plants. And these active compounds, they promote so many health benefits, boosting your immune system, boosting your heart and circulatory system. For example, lycopene. That's the pigment that we get from a tomato that makes it red, or watermelon that's pink. What I want to talk to today to give you more insight on the healing factors of plants. Not only how fresh and tasteful they are in our meals, but the extra boost, vital powerhouse of Mother Nature. Let's try and make your food choices count, okay? Make them count in your garden when you have those beautiful tomatoes, when you have those greens, those leafy greens full of vitamins and nutrients and protein, okay? We need to balance our energy needs. We need to bring in more plants into our diets. Again, why? Many of our diets are not balanced in the omegas, in the omega-6 and the omega-3s. Your omega-6 that has your meats, your dairy, your fried foods, processed foods, chips, pastries, majority of the junk food, okay? And then we have our omega-3s. And our omega-3s we want lots of. And that is from our plants. That's from our fruits, our vegetables, our nuts, our seeds, our beans, legumes, squash, the whole rainbow. So let's bring more of that into our lives. Let's make those healthy choices, and that way let's get a balance. Our bodies react better when we are at a homeostasis balance. So let's try and balance that by bringing in more plants. Again, why plants? Hopefully today, in my demo today, I want to explain where not only are you getting all the health benefits from the plants, but also the taste, for it to be sustainable. Okay, we want to get our kids healthy, we want to get our family healthy, we want to get our own bodies healthy. So let's make it healthy. And one of the best things we could do is bring in plants from our garden, along with our herbs and spices. So we're gonna incorporate all these healthful tips to bring into our bodies. And one of the main tips I like to talk about in my program is fiber. Our bodies need fiber. I like to explain it, fiber in our bodies is like a big scrub brush, okay? That scrub brush of fiber that's only found in plants. When it goes down our digestive tract, those plants are scrubbing our digestive tract, and it's cleaning our circulatory system. It allows our precious livers to filter properly, okay? That's another reason. Our livers are constantly filtering. So if it's a gentle filter and we're bringing in fruits and vegetables and plant-based material, it's a wonderful process that our body does. The dishes that I'm going to show you today, they're chock full of fiber. You're going to be getting a large scrub brush today. And one of the visual parts in my program, I have four important items I always like to focus in on. One is writing, and that's journaling your foods, journaling your intakes. One is speaking, whether that be texting me back and forth or listening to me talk, giving presentations, listening to other people talk about health, your doctors, listen. Be aware of your bodies. Know what's going on inside. Listen to the positive when we do fill our lives with plant-based food. So coming back to the fiber, for a visual, that's one of the aspects I like to do. I like to have visuals so we can see the beauty in our foods, the scrub brush of the fiber in the plants that are scrubbing down our digestive tract when we bring that fiber in. So today, with the three types of foods that I'm going to talk about today in demonstration, it's not going to be just a little cleaning our digestive tract. It's not even going to be a medium. It's going to be the big scrub brush. So that's the great part today. Just when you're thinking of this, be aware again of the choices we make in the food that we're putting in our bodies. Remember, when we bring in the health, that's not only, the taste is so very important, but it's also what the foods are doing inside our bodies, because that will show on the outside. My demonstration today brings in dishes full of plants. It's a win-win, no doubt about it, win-win. While you listen to me, while I go back in the demonstration area of my kitchen, I will be explaining different things of the ingredients and so forth. While you listen, think about all the health benefits that Mother Nature has to offer us. And in her wisdom, it contains the rainbow of all her colors. Okay? So let's start by, I'm just going to give you a little bit, I know if you saw my brochure of my presentation today, what I was going to talk about for the Healing Food series, the first recipe is going to be my lentil taco mixture. And I will post these recipes on the Fountain Hills Facebook page so you can see these. I will demonstrate the lentil taco, and then I also have my spinach basil tart that I will be talking about also and demonstrating the assembly of. And then I also, for the holidays, I thought, what can I do plant-based that will have a little bit of the sweetness of a holiday celebration, which is a non-dairy chocolate, Keiko, above 60%, along with pomegranate, and some coconut oil and a little maple syrup. So these are things, when you're listening again, listen to the wholeness of the foods, of the plants that I'm putting in to the dishes. Listen how easy and quick these recipes are going to be. So let's start with a lentil taco mixture. Now this is great for kids and adults. How hard is it to get our kids to eat the leafy greens, to eat the whole foods, the tomatoes, the onions, all these things? It's a little difficult sometimes. So another reason what I like to talk about is cognitive behavioral changes. So when we talk about whole foods, and I talk to you about cognitive, I'm talking to you about when we see things visually, it sticks in our minds. When we hear things from speakers, when we write things down in our notes, these are all things that are part of our cognitive behavioral changes that we can make to the positive. So when I do my finished product with the lentil tacos, it will be for kids. I just think bringing up our children in this world with so many other toxins and just not healthy choices, let us do our best to try and make more food choices count. Okay, so visual is huge. Let's start with our lentil mixture. In the lentil mixture, we're going to have 3 cups of cooked lentil, 1 packet of my organic, gluten-free taco seasoning. This is delicious. And just to let you know, when I do cook the lentil, this is my lentil mixture here on top of the stove. I don't know if many of you have seen, last April, I did the first virtual healing series, and I made vegetable broth. So what I do is when you take a package of your lentil, go according to the directions, and whenever it says the amount of water that you need, I use vegetable broth instead. So that's just another make a food choice count. So another thing I'd like to talk about in my kitchen, plastic, I don't use a lot of plastic. Plastic tends to seep into foods and it's not the healthiest. So you'll see in my kitchen, I keep a lot of my nuts, seeds, any foods in glass containers. This actually, you don't have to go and spend a lot of money on containers also. This is a mason jar. I've kept these for many years and I've gotten a couple different sizes. I've also taken jars. This is from Costco, and inside this jar was the Queen Anne olives that my family loves. So I took the label off and now this is a jar that holds my vegetable broth in the refrigerator. Along with this type of glass jar, I have these bottles that I fill of my vegetable broth. So I can saute with this, pour it into any of my my saute, if I want to do onions or mushrooms or anything, peppers, I use this. If I want to make rice, if I'm making rice, I use this. If it calls for 2 cups of water, I'll put in 2 cups of vegetable broth. And a lot of times it'll give that rice a flavor that every time is different because you don't know what's in my vegetables that I used prior to make the broth. So let's start our lentil taco. I'm going to put the stove on. We've got to place the cooked lentils in a fry pan. We're going to pour in 3/4 cups of my vegetable broth. You don't have time to make any vegetable broth or have any, it's a 3/4 cup of water. Here we go. 3/4 cup of water and a packet of my organic gluten-free taco seasoning. I'm going to take the packet of taco seasoning. I'm going to sprinkle that on top of the lentils. Sprinkle that on top. What I've done in the past also, if I don't have any taco organic, really good seasoning mix, I have a recipe that I created that just gives a nice Mexican spice. And I use it in my Spanish rice. It's a Mexican spice melody, which I'll also post. I'll go over the ingredients in a little bit. So I have the lentil, I have the packet of the organic taco mix, and now I'm going to pour in 3/4 cup of my vegetable broth, or water if you don't have any. We're going to bring this to a medium boil, okay? And the nice part about this, when we eat a whole food plant-based diet, sometimes the prepping, cleaning of the vegetables can get daunting. If you have a lot of vegetables, which I do in the house, I like to prepare and I like to take a certain amount of time and prep. Wash the vegetables, wash the leafy greens, get everything together. So when you prepare this, it's easy, it's happiness, and you want to do it every day because you're just going to start feeling so good about it. So we're gonna let this cook on the stove. Once it gets to that medium boil, you just cook it for 3 minutes and you are done. Okay? What I wanted to talk just a minute about is our taco shells. When I promote a whole food plant-based diet, when you have a taco and you have all the beautiful fixings on there, okay? And then we go take a processed flour tortilla, it's just, let's try and make a healthier choice. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give you a couple examples. I have, in my family, we like taco salads, okay? When I make a taco salad, I have right here, I have a gluten-free taco shell, and I also have not a processed flour taco shell. I have a whole grain, a whole wheat taco shell. So what I do is I have these pans and I put each shell into a pan and I bake it. When they bake it in the oven, I usually put it on about 375, 400. keep an eye on it. I want to say 5 to 10 minutes. When you keep an eye on it, and then you take it out, your tortilla turns into a little salad bowl, okay? That's a fun thing. And it's a whole grain. That's one choice. I'm going to give you a couple choices, right? Make your food choices count. What I have here too, what I found, these are grain-free, all right? The first one, and here we go. Here's our lentils starting to nicely boil right now, medium boil. And I can smell the taco seasoning just mixing, melding really nice with the lentil. And our typical tacos are made from ground beef. The texture of lentils, of the legumes, the lentils, it's almost like a ground beef texture. So that's the nice part with kids. A lot of us, when they're tasting it, it's the texture that throws them off, not really the taste. So if you have something similar in the texture, like mushrooms, I'm sure everyone's heard that a portobello mushroom, you slice it, it tastes like a steak. It could taste like a piece of meat. So texture in our plants is very important. I'm going to turn the heat off now and just let that simmer, because this will be our lunch this afternoon in the Romano household. And my husband's really happy about this today. Okay, back to the taco shells. This is from Sprouts, and it's a grain-free taco shell, and it's made with avocado oil. The ingredients are cassava flour, avocado oil, chia seeds, and sesame seeds. Boom! This is perfect. Another package I found at Safeway. Safeway has this brand, it's Siete, all right? It's, again, made with 100% avocado oil. What I like about this, what we'll see in most packaged foods and anything that has any oil, they tend to put canola oil in. And that's mass-produced, it's cheap, and it's not healthy. It's not one of the healthiest oils at all. So I like seeing avocado oil. I like seeing olive oil. Those are the oils, but they're a little bit more pricey. But when I'm starting to see these in some of our packaged foods, I don't use a lot of packaged foods in my meals, but for this, for tacos, for getting the kids to eat, for getting adults that come over and eat in your family, that are not, that need more food choices that are plant-based. This is great. So this is Siete. It's also a grain-free, but it has different seeds. It has the cassava flour, avocado oil, pumpkin seed meal, pumpkin powder, and sea salt. So this is another fabulous choice for the tacos. And after we're done making the lentil taco mixture, I'm going to take, I have a finished product, and we're just going to fill the taco shells with it. Before we do that, I wanted to give everybody a little tip. When I was at a class in Sedona last year, and I am not a chef. I don't have the artistry or knowledge that the beautiful chefs have when they have done these healing food series. These chefs that have been on our series have just had spectacular dishes, right? Spectacular. Their artistry is amazing. What I do, I am not. I am a good cook. All right, let's put it that way. I'm a good cook. I love to create great meals, plant-based, that are tasty. All right, I can do that. So that being said, last year when I was in a class, I've cut my fingers many a times on a cutting board with a knife. What I would suggest and what I've learned, and I want to share with everybody, to put down a piece of sheet lining paper from the cabinet. Put that down on your counter. If you've noticed, I have a couple different size cutting boards that I use in my kitchen. This big baby, this is what I use when I'm going to do a lot of chopping and cutting. This is my favorite. But if I'm making a small dish and I need to maybe just cut up some tomatoes or so and I don't want to take this out, I have sizes for each of my cutting board. And you lay it on the counter. If you don't lay it on the counter, this will move out around a little bit. And it's not that you're clumsy or that you're cutting your fingers. A lot of times it's just that slight little movement in the cutting board, okay? So let's put this down. And then we put the cutting board on top. Doesn't move a bit, all right? So when I take my tomato and I slice it, it's not moving, okay? When I take my spinach and I want to chop some spinach in a recipe, it's not moving. And this is what I want to tell you too, which I've learned the hard way. When we're chopping, always keep your fingers on top of the knife. Once you get that basic chop done, even with onions and so forth, peppers and so forth, keep the fingers on top of the knife and just go back and forth and get your chopping done. That works for me, in the kitchen. So just another little tidbit on the safety in the Romano kitchen. So here we go, our lentil mixture is finished. I'm going to walk over and I am going to take one of our taco salad bowls. This is the gluten-free taco shell made with brown rice, and this is my whole grain, the whole wheat taco shell. So I'm going to take the taco shell, walk over. What I had filled it in earlier, I have the chopped lettuce, I have tomatoes, I have black olives, and some onions. So I'm going to walk over here, and you can create your bowls. You can create your tacos any way you like. If you just want to eat the taco mixture, maybe with a little chopped romaine lettuce on top, that's fine too. That's the beauty of choices we make. That's the beauty of you don't have to have it perfect. Pick what you like. And I'm sure once we start bringing in the plant-based foods and our taste buds start to change and just loving the fresh, you're going to want every single one of these toppings. And you're going to decide to even have more. How many people at the garden now have jalapeno peppers that they're growing? All the peppers and lettuces and tomatoes, garlic, onions, all our root vegetables that we're starting to grow. So it's just amazing. So I'm going to take a little bit of this mixture, pour that in over the taco, and we have, voila, a plant-based taco salad. There's nothing better, and I'm going to I love my greens, and this is a great way to get your greens in here. I'm going to top it with more greens. All right. I do, for transitioning into plant-based, I do have non-dairy cheddar cheese if you want to sprinkle on top. I really don't need it, but sometimes it's a big item in some people's tacos. I also, on the side for a meal, here's your salsa, full of tomatoes, onions, peppers, garlic. This is fabulous. All the antioxidants in just that little 2 scoops that I put on my plate. Another side you can use with your tacos is guacamole. Guacamole, the main ingredient is your avocado. And one of the best things of the avocado is its healthy fat. We need that healthy fat for our brain health. So, and satiety, we need that, fills us up, keeps us full. So avocados are amazing in the dishes. I eat avocados every day. I love them. So let me go back to cooking with the lentil tacos. I'm going to give you some tips. I like to substitute sometimes with a romaine lettuce. I'll make a taco with a piece of romaine lettuce, and I will fill this with the taco. It can get messy, but if you do it a couple of times, it's awesome. And then I will put in onions, tomatoes, guacamole. Sometimes I put some salsa on top. Whatever the case may be, whatever your taste buds you feel like, go for it. It's all plant-based. What I like about the tacos is make it a family event. Let your kids be involved. Let your kids, your grandkids, whatever the case may be. I have a little pink unicorn with tacos that you can put on the counter and have the kids make their own, or you can make them and just have the kids pick it out and put it on their plate. Okay? Visual is key. So these are things for little girls, and then I have a yellow dump truck. And we can do the same for the boys with the yellow dump truck. And for the adults, I'm sorry, nothing spectacular, but I do have a metal taco holder. And you could prepare a table just beautifully and have your guests make their own tacos and have a taco party. So that's my first plant-based meal. I hope you enjoy. And like I said, I'll put the ingredient lists and I'll put that on the line. And one more thing I wanted to say about the taco mixture, make enough. I've done it many a times where it's even tastier the next day because all the ingredients start to blend together. Real quick, my own Mexican spice, which I've done if I don't have the packet. It consists of chili powder, cumin, oregano, paprika, garlic powder, cayenne pepper, onion powder, and black pepper. So that being said, I use it all the time. This is my container for my homemade Mexican spice. I've got it down to here. I use this all the time. And the nice part about this, you add as much as you want. You put as much as, if you want a little bit more heat, put a little bit more spice. And that's the great part about it. Another thing I wanted to mention with the choices, the food choices we make, plant-based, remember those herbs and spices. They're just as important as so many other plants that we eat. So herbs and spices are amazing antioxidants and so healthy for us. Help them with the scrubbing. Our next meal that I want to talk about is our mini taco spinach tarts. With the mini taco spinach tarts, there's 3 parts. One is the crust, one is the cashew ricotta, like the plant-based cheese, cashew ricotta, and the third is the spinach basil pesto, which is my favorite. I went ahead and prepared this. This is a little leftover of my dough. This is actually a whole grain spelt flour. You roll this out on a cutting board, a floured cutting board, to about really thin, maybe 1/8 of an inch thin. You take a 3-inch cookie cutter, or you can use a glass cup and make your 3-inch round dough tarts. You take that and you press it down, gently press it into the mini muffin compartment, and it turns into a little mini tart. Okay? So when you press that down and it's in your in the muffin container, you go ahead and you fill it with the cashew ricotta. The cashew ricotta is raw cashews, water, lemon juice, nutritional yeast, sea salt, and loosely packed fresh basil. And I'm going to tell you this from the get-go. This recipe is full of basil. And I got all the basil from my back patio and the Fountain Hills Community Garden. So I'm going to do a plug for anyone who is a part of the garden already knows a $10 fee to join the garden, even if you don't have a bed, even if you don't rent a bed, just $10 a year can get you so you can use the herb garden, the volunteer herb garden bed that our volunteers take care of and nurture. So that to me is a win-win also. So with the cashew ricotta, you're going to combine everything I said, and you combine it in your food processor, my blender. I have a Vitamix that I combine it all in. Just put all those ingredients in the Vitamix, blend it, and voila. You get cashew ricotta cheese. So what we do is we have our little tart. I'm going to add just a little. We're going to put the cashew cheese in here. Okay, like so. Just fill it up. And then what we'll do is we're going to put a sliced tomato on top. And then we're going to bake these tarts in the oven. You're going to preheat the oven to 400. And you're going to bake these for 15-20 minutes. Okay? When they come out of the oven, you're going to take them out of the oven, let them cool. You're going to put them on a plate. And then we're going to take the spinach basil pesto. Now the spinach basil pesto is basil, again, from my patio and the garden, spinach, raw cashews, garlic, fresh garlic cloves, nutritional yeast, lemon juice, sea salt, and olive oil. Right? It is absolutely delicious. So you're going to process, easy peasy, you're going to process in the Vitamix or food processor that you have. And I usually stop in the middle once it starts getting, mixed together. I usually stop, take a long spoon, and I usually scrape down, or a spatula, scrape down the sides, okay? And get that down, and then maybe pulse again a couple times to get that really mixed up nice. That being said, the tarts are cool, all right? We're gonna take this spinach pesto. Look how much this makes, okay? This is your fresh spinach basil pesto that we're gonna put a little dollop on each one, on each tart, just a little bit, okay? Make it pretty. And then what I do is I walk over and I find where usually my basil, I have basil in the kitchen all the time. Take a scissors, and then we're going to take a piece of basil, a basil leaf, and we're going to garnish it. And we're going to put that on top of our little tart. Voila! So now we have the spinach, tomato, pesto, mini tarts. What a great, with the holiday season coming, this is a great little appetizer to bring somewhere. This is a great little, it's a nice snack. And again, make your food choices count. This is a whole food plant-based meal, right? And it's delicious. Another tip I want to give you, many recipes, if they call for a pesto, there's so many different. I have leftover pesto all the time because they just need a little dollop. So with the extra pesto, I have a little idea. What I do is I have a red and white quinoa. So this is a whole grain, gluten-free, red and white quinoa pasta. So I make this all the time. It digests beautifully, okay? It digests beautifully because it's a whole grain. It hasn't been stripped, and it digests nice and slow. It doesn't spike your sugars. It just digests in a nice way our bodies are supposed to. So that there's other spaghetti squash. I put the pesto on, bake a beautiful spaghetti squash and pour the pesto on top. So this pesto You can eat cold. I would dip crackers. I would dip vegetables, peppers, red peppers, the colored peppers. I like doing that. Carrots. I've done many a times I'm dipping. But it's also great warmed up on the stove. Warm it up for a warm pasta, and there's a meal in itself. Okay? The last part that I want to talk about, with the holidays coming up, is my pomegranate bark. And like I said before, with pomegranate bark, it's 12 ounces of the dark chocolate. They're non-dairy chocolate chips, so it's over 60% cacao. Okay? So that is the chocolate and the sweet you're going to get. Also, there's a 1/4 cup of coconut oil, a 1/4 cup of maple syrup, and best of all, 2 cups of pomegranate seeds. Okay? And I'm just going to run down the benefits of those pomegranate seeds. With only 1 cup of pomegranate seeds, these are great for your circulatory system. The phytochemicals in here, it's terrific for your circulatory system. There's 7 grams of fiber, 3 grams of protein, and it contains vitamin C and a vitamin K. There's folate and potassium, and all part of this powerhouse seed. So this is a great dessert, and it's plant-based. So when we do have the treat, this is the treat I like to serve in my household. So that today, my garden family, concludes my Healing Food series. Thank you for joining me today. I wish you all health, and through this Thanksgiving and holiday season, the best to you, and I hope to see you in the garden. Take care.